I really like the Dominator exhaust systems that they have out there, and I wanted to replace the can on this bike with the Dominator one, hopefully to change the tone and note of the exhaust and also possibly to cut some weight. So let's get to replacing that can with this and looking at those factors. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. As I mentioned in the beginning, I really like the Dominator exhaust line, especially the one I put on the T7. I really think it brought that bike alive and gave it a much better exhaust note. So I'm hoping to do the same with this bike by putting the can on. Now, a quick note, I know there's quite a few of you out there that have replaced the entire exhaust front to back on this bike, replacing the header, the catalytic converter, and the can, the muffler. But in doing that, for me, the cost of that is very excessive. That's about a $2,000 upgrade when you do the exhaust, and then you really need to reflash the ECU so that you have proper fueling, and that is not something I wanted to do for a couple of reasons. One, it is cost prohibitive, and two, I don't want to make huge modifications to my bike like that could potentially void the warranty. So changing the muffler is just fine, should change the note, hopefully drop some pounds. But before I do that, what I want to do is I'm going to meter the volume coming out of the stock exhaust and compare that to the one I'm replacing it with the Dominator, to see how much of a difference it is in volume, and then also see if we can determine what that note change will be by changing these exhausts. So let's get started in metering this exhaust. We'll get it changed and then do the other one. Let's get to it. All right, I'm in the garage to get out of the hot sun, and there's basically two bolts. There's the hanger bolt and then the clamp that goes onto the exhaust to take it off. Just riding this around the house. This is hot, so I'm gonna let this cool off before I do it. As you can see on this exhaust, I did drop this bike in my trailer, really stupid thing. So it's got some dents and some scratches. So it'll be good to get that cleaned up. So let's get to that. Mounting clamp here, 17 millimeter. And what do I do with, and the back of the mount is 13 millimeter. And it's just a bolt that goes through. So pop that off. All right, got that off. Time to put the new one on. I don't have a proper scale, but I'm guessing this is maybe 12 to 15 pounds. It's pretty heavy. And the Dominator, it really feels like it's about half the weight. It is a significant weight difference. I wasn't expecting it to be that much different, but this stock exhaust can, it is heavy compared to this one. So let's get this one put on. All right, the exhaust here sliding on. I've got quite a bit of movement that I can slide it up and down. So I'll have to kind of figure out which configuration I like the best, and then getting the clamp band put on. So I'm gonna work through that. I'm just gonna leave it right where it's at. Tighten it a little. Now I know that I wanna make sure that the exhaust coming out clears all this, so I'm not melting anything as it comes out. And then I also have this turned so that it's squared up with the bike. And the nice thing is this comes with its own clamp. So I really like that, and it's a very good clamp. Now I've used the stock bolt through here and the nut on the back. I'm not going to use the one that came with the Dominator. I like the machining look of this better, and it kind of seemed like they had a bit of a universal fit to this clamp. So I'll just make sure this tightens up. Okay, all done. I just need to tighten this up all the way and I'm good to go. I want to make a quick installation note on this exhaust. And when I was fitting it, you can really fit it down low and push it over the header pipe coming out so that the end of the pipe can be like down in this area. The concern I had is that it was going to melt my turn signal. So I had to make sure that the exhaust, the heat off the exhaust is missing the turn signal so that the turn signal doesn't get melted sitting here. So I had some back and forth getting it set right. So my recommendation is when you put this on, just put it right at the edge. I've done almost 100 miles with it like this, and seems just fine. So anyway, keep that in mind when you're installing this on your Tuareg. The comparative testing between the two mufflers has been completed. It is a very non-scientific, non-controlled environment. A lot of ambient noise. This afternoon, there's a lot more noises than there was this morning when I tested the original exhaust. But looking at the screen capture that I have here, it looks like the original exhaust is plus or minus 1 or 2 80 dB. And even revving it, it's not going up much higher than about 83 or 84, so it's not terribly loud. Now, when I look at the new exhaust, it's running right around 80 dB at idle and going up to about 85 to 90. And I'll try to leave an image here so you can see exactly what that looks like. Now, again, this is very unscientific. It's just kind of a measuring stick to know what the difference will be. It's not a significant difference in noise level. What I do notice in the tone of it is this new muffler has a little bit more of a thump to it, kind of like what you would hear out of a single cylinder. There's just a little bit more of a low frequency thud to it, the kind of the thumper noise that I like. I think it's better, but it doesn't, at least for me, doesn't sound much louder even at 5,000 RPM where I was revving it up. It's pretty dang close, but I'll have to get out and do a test ride. It's just really hot right now. I don't feel like putting on my gear and going, but it feels like just sitting here, there's a little bit more throttle response. Maybe there's a little bit more airflow through this exhaust. I don't have any way of measuring it. I do think that the weight savings is worth it. Now, this particular exhaust is, I want to say, somewhere around $400, which is not an inexpensive upgrade to do to your bike. But with the weight savings, a little bit better sound, and potentially a little bit better airflow, I think it's worth it. And I think it looks a little bit better than the stock exhaust. I'm not terribly a big fan of the stock exhaust, so I like this. Anyway, if you have made modifications to your bike like this, your Aprilia Tuareg 660, let me know what different silencers or exhausts that you've done and how the results have been. And then if you've replaced the entire exhaust, let me know how much you spent and if you think it was worth it. So if you got to the end, thanks for watching. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there.